Hello everyone, welcome back. Relationship spaces, and what do I mean by this? 2 years ago, I think I made a video called Becoming Conscious, which was something that was coming out of an update. Something not just personal but general, in terms of like how the energy translates into experience. Like I said, the technical problem of like why things are the way they are and why the awareness of people has been so limited. One, has been no space and not enough energy, and usually the energy conditions the space that one can have inside. So for that reason, we have a lot of garbage in our relationships, and it's very easy to keep a status quo instead. In terms of like continue to have a like toxic environment, either in personal relationships or work relationships. In the end, they're all personal relationships, and we have this, most of the time there is this dynamic that is toxic and stems in the end out of fear, and it's a fear of survival. Especially in the work environment, where we live in a world where we are conditioned by money, and everyone has to make a living to exist. Otherwise, basically, you have no right to exist in this reality unless you make money. Then there is the other part, which is the personal part. Like I said, everything is personal, but you know what I mean. It's like family, love relationships, friendships, and things like that, that are poisoned. People poison that space, those spaces, by being unconscious. And we're in a time where, yes, more and more become aware of this kind of things, as in like, oh, this is toxic, this type of behavior, this kind of thinking is toxic and leads nowhere. But there is still a lot of trash, because, like I said, there is no real. The awareness is still fragmented, and when it's trying to clean itself, doesn't understand why it's doing it. It's just thinking, oh, I'm doing this so I have a better relationship with this person, or do well at my job, or earn more money, or whatever. And it's not that it's wrong, but it's also not right. It is something that you should think of it like it's just what I can see right now. Because when you have more energy, you understand that what you're after is something else, and it's much bigger than that. But the range, like how far your awareness can like reach, is that. So when you're trying to improve your life in any way, that's why I always insist on the cleaning process, is because this will give you the space, this will give you the awareness to understand that whatever you're doing, you're doing it for a completely different reason. And then life and what you did before can be done, but in a different way. And actually, you know that then you're going to direct all these actions or whatever you do towards actually a different point, a different reality. So there's a lot of trash in our interaction. There's a lot of judgments. There's a lot of things that people do unconsciously, because they don't know how to get what they want to get. Most of the time is love, because everyone wants love, because love is home. And it's funny how most people are ready to give another chance to love, but they're not willing to give a chance to someone that might need, let's say, an opportunity to obviously earn a living, develop, and things like that. If one has made a mistake or whatever, because they didn't know better, or even they didn't do any mistakes, because there's this thing, well, there's not enough, so it has to be me, like screw the rest. everything is colored by fear. There's fear in everything, in personal relationships, in professional relationships. And this creates a lot of frustrations in people. But the change starts with ourselves. So if we do not catch ourselves whenever we do any of those things, like, why do I place this unnecessary judgment on this person or on this situation? Does this bring anything to me? Does it change my life in any way? Do I need to actually decide that this is it? So this is one of those things that happen when you clean enough, like for real. And you realize, like, wow, this is so messy. Life and everything, the interaction with people, it's like, why did that person do that or said that? Yes, in the beginning you might still say or whatever, but certain things in certain situations, but then you kind of have to, you catch yourself, and then maybe you need 3 or 4 times until like you don't do it anymore, because there's just like, you realize there's no point. It's like, it doesn't bring us any further, doesn't bring any solutions for the problem. So there should be another way to solve this, or have better interactions, have better relationships and dynamics. So this is one of the things that, like, I've noticed it since I was a kid, how messy people are. And I guess I would annoy someone that would be the opposite of that. But I mean, like, I like clarity, order. That doesn't mean order excludes spontaneity, I don't know, poetry, magic, things like that. Wrong. The thing is, when your awareness is less fragmented, you actually understand more of how things are. So therefore, you don't want and you don't need to do things that create more mess. So therefore, you might seem like either, I know, boring or whatever. Not that you have no imagination, but it's just like bland or whatever. No, it's just you're very cerebral, very rational, which I am. But like I said, the reason why I'm like that in most cases is because I see the problem, and I see that the problem cannot really be solved by just saying or doing stupid shit. So it's much more complex, and it takes much more work to actually do it right and just really get rid of the problem. So I've noticed this as a kid, the mess that people make in relationships. And I never understood, it's like, why? Okay, so when you're a kid, you have like no saying in most things, because the parents decide what you should do, what you should say most of the time. Well, times have changed, but you know what I mean. And you receive, or at least in those times, as I was growing up, you're basically, your opinion doesn't really matter. And then you go to school, and then you find out in school that also, I mean, there in most of cases, your opinion doesn't matter. And then you take a job, and then you see your opinion doesn't really matter, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean by that. So there's always this mechanisms of suppression of getting to the truth, getting to a healthy dynamic in our relationships, in the life that we live. So this pile up, this type of like always being suppressed here, suppressed there, this creates distortion in someone. And if you're not consciously work and like to see, okay, so this is a situation that cannot go on, and you're trying to solve it or improve it, over time, I mean, even if you do that, over time, there's still frustration building up inside. And you have to deal with that, which I had to deal with a lot of that. When you think like, oh, I'm doing the right things, why things are still the same way? I know the explanation now, but and because I know the explanation, I have to still keep doing this cleaning work no matter what. I haven't stopped doing that. It's just I'm doing it on a completely different level now. So the space of our reality is poisoned with a lot of unnecessary judgment, a lot of unnecessary things that have been said or done, and that stem out of fear, and well, behind it is the distortion. And then there's also combined with lack of space inside most people, because they haven't made space to have a different awareness. So it's really, really messy. And there's dynamics, relationships, when you say in families, most of the time, because that's where we exist. That's how we actually find, how should I say, the way to grow, to experience life in these interactions. And then they remain toxic for most of our lives, or for everyone, the entire life. But when we understand that actually our relationships are an opportunity to actually put together a fragmented awareness, because right now the awareness is fragmented, you stop running and you look at things like the opportunity, just like, okay, so you're showing me this. Okay, I'm going to clean that. You're showing me this. I'm going to clean that. And sometimes it's not just because it's you, although it can be you as well, but it's like, so this is what you're showing me, the mirror reflecting. And in love relationship, I would say it's even worse, because people expect perfection. And this is a time where there's no such thing as perfection. And most of the relationship there, although say, this is love, it's like, no, it's not. Maybe has been a little bit, and there's something there that it's the core of it, but most of it, it's poisoned by this toxic reality, the general toxic reality. So there's this personal relationship bubble of reality, and then there's the community, there's even bigger group, and then it's the whole thing. So there's a bubble within a bubble within a bubble of toxicity, levels of that you have to overcome, realize and overcome. So when you become aware of those things, you don't want to run away, and you don't see the other, like I said, in a love relationship, just something that, this is the opportunity to get love. It's an opportunity, like I said, we help each other to put together the fragmented awareness. It's actually, when you understand that this is a big chance to do that, then you won't waste time running around in different directions, jumping from one person. I know that there's special situation cases where these things happen, like, right, this doesn't really work, but most of the time, actually, a lot of the relationships that fail, most of the time, one, you would say, okay, we grow in different directions, but that also because in the beginning, the base was not really one that you haven't decided that you're going in the same direction. So that's another thing. So most people, when they start a relationship, they don't decide, right, we're going in the same direction, because otherwise we will develop in a way that we will develop then we'll each one go left and the other will go right. So that's one of the things that people do. Like the sexual attraction, the whatever attraction overpowers the understanding, like, right, why are we doing this? Why do we get together? So we want to build, or is just this, we want to consume it. So if it's just consume it, then great, have your fun. And if nobody gets hurt, okay. But if you know that you're going to get hurt, then don't do that. then just choose something else. And usually that is like, stop running away from you, and then understand that we all have to understand, but this understanding means an experience inside ourselves. And then when it's crystallizing into something that it's a truth inside ourselves, that nobody and nothing can be take that away from us. And that is that love is not something that somebody necessarily is like, love, I'll get love if I'm only with that person, or this or whatever. We'll have to find love first in ourselves. Yes, I know there's a lot of things to love yourself and blah, blah, but it's more than just this. What I mean by this, you'll find the reservoir, you'll find the source of that, because in each and every one, it's like through us, this exists already, this exists, but it's covered and it's not allowed to express for real, because there's a lot of trash, there's a lot of mess, there's just crap around. And all the hard work is, like I said, and I always say that, is is cleaning this mess and make space for your light and the love to shine through you. And then when you're actually meant to experience something like a union that brings more than just like, oh, expressing myself, like, oh, we are building something together bigger than me or you, so, and both can grow from it and expand in whatever bigger ways, then that's a different story. And right now, this is not really the case for most people when they get into together in a union, or wanting to experience love. It's just like most people consume what's there, and then, oh, there's no more love. Love is gone. Well, you feel that way because that wasn't based on real love, and sometimes you have to dig deeper to actually find love, like true love. And it's like I said, it's not about running away from ourselves. It's actually embracing all these imperfections and working with them and seeing everything as an opportunity to, like, right, I'm going to clean this. Oh, ugly thing, I'm going to clean that. Ugly thing there, I'm going to clean that. And like I always say, not everyone is prepared, not everyone has this maturity inside, because it demands it's the quantity of work. It's just, sometimes it's overwhelming. It's like, when it's going to end? Well, it's going to end eventually when you grow your energy and your awareness, and also the general energy grows, and it will be much easier to get rid of all this toxicity, all this mess, all this trash. But in these times where we're just emerging from like such limited existence and awareness, it's still hard. And it's, for most people, this is like, yeah, whatever. So yes, there's a lot of, how should I say, help out there if you want to hear certain things, that you can put like things together in your awareness, like, to have this aha moments of what you're supposed to do. But a lot of the teachings, these things are not really, they don't focus or see a bigger scope of them, as in like why we're doing these things. Because most of the stuff, like, right, to have a better life, but what does a better life mean? Because if you have a certain awareness, you think, oh, that's a better life. But what if that awareness is actually changing completely, you know? So then things look completely different. It's just it's like, oh, so a better life means completely different thing. Not what I just thought when I was, I don't know, this much, or in this box. So when you have more space, how better is, like, what a better life means changes. And you will actually see that you will, this judgment is like when you receive unnecessary, especially if you feel those, if you're an empath, if you feel those things. But this will bother you, but when you clean, these things can no longer affect you. That's another thing. But also you cannot tolerate that. It's like, even if it doesn't really affect you, it's kind of like something that's trying to hit you. It won't hit you, but it's like we cannot really cooperate when those things come at you, and or you deliver to somebody else, because they just poison the space, and there's just, we don't build anything lasting. We just add more trash, like suffocating ourselves. So that's what I meant by becoming conscious. Back then, is we'll start to notice these behaviors, these things, but more than just that. But this is one of those, this type of like unconscious, oh, why am I thinking that? Why am I saying that? Why this person is saying that to me? Or why can we not see the middle ground here? Why can we not go that direction, do that? Finally, it's like, it's so obvious. Why it's not? Like I said, not enough energy, there's distortion, there's a lot of toxicity, everything has been so narrow. So That's why you need so much patience to go through this work and to be persistent and continue in spite of all this unpleasantness and impossibilities. Yeah, it's going to get better, but no one is excused. Everyone has to do the cleaning. I hope this was interesting and helpful. See you next time. Ciao. We have to, first of all, move out of fear. It's about moving out of fear. Moving out of fear means